Ever feel like life just loves throwing you curveballs? Well, today we are diving deep into building resilience with Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic from their Real Talk episode.
Yeah, their insights are always so on point.
Let's unpack what they have to say about bouncing back, shall we?
Let's do it.
One of the things that really struck me about Lady T's take on resilience is that it's about more than just toughing it out.
It's not just grinning and bearing it, is it?
Exactly. It's about learning to adapt and even grow from challenges.
Yeah, she's talking about thriving, not just surviving. And you know what they compare resilience to? A muscle.
Oh, I love that analogy.
Me too. The more you work a muscle, the stronger it gets. Resilience is the same way. The more you face challenges and learn to bounce back, the better you become at handling whatever life throws your way.
So how do we actually exercise this resilience muscle?
Right, because we can't just sign up for resilience boot camp.
Well, Lady T suggests starting with small challenges, things that might even feel a little uncomfortable at first.
Okay, so like baby steps.
Exactly. And then gradually taking on bigger hurdles as you gain confidence. Think of it like starting with a brisk walk before you dive into marathon training.
Makes sense. You wouldn't start training for a marathon on day one, would you?
Nope. And this actually ties into that whole growth mindset idea that Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic emphasize.
Oh, absolutely. They're all about that growth mindset.
But for those of us who need a little refresher, what does it actually mean to have a growth mindset?
So it's about recognizing that our abilities aren't set in stone.
Like, we're not just stuck with what we've got.
Right. We can learn and grow throughout our lives. Instead of seeing challenges as proof of our limitations, a growth mindset encourages us to see them as opportunities for development.
Like that time Lady T talked about not getting that promotion. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, she used it as fuel.
Oh, I remember that. She was like, okay, what can I learn from this? What skills can I work on so that next time I nail it?
Exactly. A fixed mindset might lead to self-doubt and giving up. But with a growth mindset, you're more likely to ask, what can I do differently next time? It's about turning that ouch into fuel for growth.
Totally. It's like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right. And it's not all about, just mindset either, is it?
Right. There's more to it than just thinking positive thoughts.
Exactly. Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic are really big on self-care as a foundation for resilience.
Oh, absolutely. They talk a lot about how important it is to take care of your physical self in order to be strong mentally.
Yeah, they're all about that mind-body connection.
Totally. It's like they always say, you can't pour from an empty cup.
It's great. Like if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating well, if you're not moving your body.
It's going to be that much harder to deal when things get tough.
Exactly. It's like trying to, run a marathon on an empty stomach with no sleep.
You might start strong, but you're going to crash and burn pretty quickly. And speaking of support, that's another big one for them, right? Having people you can count on.
Oh, for sure. Surrounding yourself with a good support system is crucial.
Absolutely. People who lift you up, who challenge you, who tell you, those are the people who help you weather the storms.
Totally. And sometimes having a strong support system means being brave enough to ask for help when you need it.
It's so easy to try to do everything on your own.
Oh, I know. Like we should be able to handle it all ourselves.
Right. But Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic are really clear about this. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength.
It takes courage to admit you need help.
Totally. And it's okay to reach out, whether it's to friends, family, mentors, even professionals sometimes. Sometimes just talking things through can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. And you know what else they talk about? Adaptability. Being able to roll with the punches,
Oh yeah, being able to adjust your sails when the winds change, that's a big one.
Definitely. They said something like, be like water.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Water is so adaptable, it can flow around obstacles and find its way through even the tiniest cracks.
Exactly. But if you're rigid, you're more likely to snap under pressure.
And that's so important because, let's face it, life is full of surprises and change.
For sure. So being able to embrace that change and adapt to new situations is a big part of being resilient.
And you know something else that Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic talked about that I thought was really interesting?
What's that?
Gratitude.
Oh, yeah, gratitude. I feel like we could all use a little more of that these days.
Right. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle and forget to appreciate the good things we do have.
Totally. But Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic, they really emphasize how important gratitude is for building resilience.
Absolutely. It's like, even when things are tough, even when it feels like everything's going wrong.
There's always something to be grateful for.
Exactly. Even if it's just like a sunny day or a really good cup of coffee or a phone call with a friend.
Those little things can make a big difference.
It really can. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain.
Totally. And you know what's amazing is that practicing gratitude, like regularly, it can actually rewire your brain.
Get out of here.
Seriously. Like it can actually help you become a more optimistic person over time.
Wow. Who knew being thankful could be so powerful?
I know, right? But it makes sense, doesn't it, when you're focused on the good stuff?
It's harder to dwell on the negative.
Exactly.
So to kind of sum it all up, it sounds like Lady T and Mr. Tee-riffic believe that building resilience is about a few key things.
It's about having a growth mindset, taking care of yourself, mind and body, building a strong support system, being adaptable, and cultivating gratitude.
And like they said, it's not about becoming invincible. It's about learning how to navigate the ups and downs of life in a way that helps you grow.
And on that note, I'd love to leave our listeners with a little something to think about. What's one challenge that you're facing right now, whether it's big or small, and how could you use one of these amazing principles to approach it with a little bit more resilience?
Ooh, I like that. So listeners, that's something for you to ponder. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.